there, Tori here of Lacasis & Company, and today I'm going to show you a quick tutorial for applying vertical lines to your knitting. This swatch that I've got here is actually from my pattern Chimera, and we're going to be applying these lines to rib columns, and this will work on any pattern that you do with ribbing that allows these applied lines to basically nestle in with the rest of your knitting. And I'm going to show you two methods, one using a crochet hook and another that you can do with your knitting needles for those of you that don't have a crochet hook. So first I will start with the crochet. What we're going to do, we're going to take our hook, and for this I'm using an M or 9mm hook, and this is a bulky yarn that I'm using. This is Brooklyn Tweed Quarry. And I'm going to start by taking the hook, so here's our purl column, and I'm going to start by taking our hook and inserting it under that first purl stitch. And now I do not fasten the end off in any way. I just leave a long tail, hang on to it, and come back later and weave that in. So what you're gonna do is just continue that. So insert from, I'll show you again, insert from the right side, yarn over the hook on the wrong side, and then pull that loop through. So we're just gonna keep doing that all the way up this purl column. And I recommend definitely, even if you are not a swatcher, especially if you're using a more delicate yarn like Quarry, make a swatch and practice before you get to your finished object, just so hey, you don't end up messing up your yarn. It doesn't look too ratty if you've had to rip it out a few times. But also I find, especially, I'm not a huge crocheter, I crochet a bit, but it takes me a while sometimes to get my tension right. I need to do it a few times before I'm in a bit of a flow. So that's why I recommend just make a practice swatch and go to town. Try to get, so you can get in that rhythm, and then when you start on your project, you'll be good to go. Then once we are at the top, we're gonna pull that last loop up through, and then to fasten off, I'm gonna break the yarn and pull that through. So you've got that there, and then you just take that to the wrong side and weave it in. And again, this will even up nicely with blocking or steaming too, will help fluff that yarn up. And then now I'm gonna show you how to do this with your knitting needles. But this time, instead of going from the cast on edge up, I prefer going the other direction. So we're gonna take our knitting needles, and I do recommend using a circular needle, especially when you're working on a project with really long vertical columns, especially like Chimera. So you'll want something that's close in length. Doesn't have to be exact. So what we're gonna do, same thing, we're gonna be picking up stitches in every purl stitch down here. So this is gonna be just like picking up and knitting. And same thing, I don't attach the yarn to anything, I just kind of hold on to it. So we're inserting our needle right side to wrong side and just picking up and knitting in each purl stitch. And this, just like the crochet, I recommend practicing, because it can, you'll be able to see better what tension works well for you if you need to go up a needle size. Finish this right up. And now what we're gonna do, we've picked up all those stitches. We're gonna turn this around, and we're gonna leave the yarn attached. You can just ignore it for now because we are not gonna need it anymore. So we've got all these loops that we picked up and knit, and we're going to slip stitches purlwise. Start by slipping 2 stitches purlwise, and then we're gonna pass that first stitch over the second needle. I mean the second stitch. So slip, pass that stitch over, slip, pass it over. I'm gonna do this all the way up the column. Most people would be hard pressed to tell the difference, especially once everything is blocked. So we're gonna do this just like we did with the crochet. Pull that loop through, and then we'll take that end to the back and weave it in. And you can see it looks kind of crazy right now, but once everything is stretched out, settled in, and especially once it's blocked, especially steam blocking would work great with this. But you can see here, I'll try to bring it a little closer too. Not bad. I'm definitely a fan of both methods, kind of whichever is working for you, what you've got on hand, what you're in the mood for. But I hope you give it a try, and thanks so much for watching.